Hey everybody, welcome to the Elevate Talk Show. I am your host, Deanna Johnson Cauthen.
And I'm Adrianna Cauthen, your co-host, and we're the mother-daughter talk show that's here to elevate your family. If you haven't done so already, please take a second to like this video and to subscribe so that you don't miss any of our upcoming episodes.
Yes, and we have an exciting episode planned for you today. In honor of Black History Month, we wanted to have a couple of episodes where we focused a little bit more on things that are about Black history. And so during our Around the Town segment, we're going to be taking you to the new Black Wallstreet Market in Stonecrest, Georgia. I guess if I had to use one word to describe it, it would be just phenomenal. It was just an exciting time for us, for me and my husband and our daughter Adrianna to visit a couple of weeks ago, and we're going to be taking you there, showing you our adventures, so you absolutely want to stay tuned to see that portion of the show. Also, in our perspective segment, we're going to be discussing the importance of Black history. You know, although for me, the idea of pouring Black history into 1 month is a bit ridiculous, but you know what? On the other hand, I think that it's good that we have this dedicated time to talk about Black history, and so we're going to be taking that opportunity to be discussing some things during our perspective segment. Why is Black history important? That is the question on the table today, so we'll be discussing that. But also in our continuing the conversation, we get to sit down with Ahneva Hilson. Ahneva Hilson is the curator of the African Textile Musem, which happens to be at the new Black Wallstreet Market in Stonecrest, Georgia. We actually aren't sitting down. We actually are going around with Miss Hilson. She takes us on a tour during our continuing conversation. And so just exciting information that she shares about African textiles. It's a must-see. It's a must-see, so stay tuned. Adrianna, what else?
Yes, so in our Meal of the Week segment, I'm going to be showing you how to make a really quick, easy beef stir-fry, which is a great weeknight meal.
Absolutely, absolutely. So stay tuned. We need to take a break, but we will be right back. Welcome back to the Elevate Talk Show. During our perspective segment, we want to talk about the subject of Black history, since February is Black History Month. And the question on the table for today is, why is Black history so important to learn about? Why is Black history so important to learn about? First of all, before we get into it anymore, why do you think Black history is something important to learn about?
Well, I mean, first of all, Black history is American history and it's world history, and
right.
It's very important for everybody to know what happened before we got to where we are today, so that we don't repeat our mistakes. I mean, it doesn't really matter that the history that we're learning about happens to be the history of Black people.
Right.
I mean, it's automatically important.
Yeah, and one of the things I want to talk about, one of the things I want to mention is that our history, our meaning African Americans, didn't start with slavery. I think sometimes, even for African Americans, we sometimes forget that we have a history that goes well before slavery. Slavery was just one segment in our story, one chapter in our story, but our history began many thousands of years ago in Africa. So I think that's because I think we're getting we have a very skewed idea of what it means to be Black, what it means to be African American. So I think it's important for ourselves and also for the world. What do you think about that?
Yes, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing is, and this relates to the continuing the conversation segment that we're going to be seeing in just a little bit. We're talking about the new Black Wallstreet Market that's out around the town for this particular show. One of the reasons that the new Black Wallstreet Market, that's located in Stonecrest, Georgia, was created was in response to the Tulsa, Oklahoma massacre that happened back in the early part of the 20th century. Can you tell our audience a little bit about the Tulsa, Oklahoma massacre that happened in the early 20th century? Can you fill them in a little bit about that?
Yes, so the Tulsa, Oklahoma race riot was a massacre that happened in the early 20th century. So there was this area called Greenwood within Tulsa, Oklahoma, which was a very affluent black neighborhood with lots of shops and stores that were owned by black people. And during that time period where that neighborhood was in existence, there was an incident where a black boy was accused of sexually assaulting a white girl, and all the white people from the surrounding areas got very upset, and it eventually escalated into a riot and massacre where they came in and they burned down businesses and killed people and chased all the remaining people out of the area.
And so and like I said earlier, this new Black Wallstreet Market that was created here in Metro Atlanta is in response to that. Again, it's about the history. It's about understanding our history. There's a lot of African Americans, who consider myself pretty intelligent and well-read, didn't know about it. Didn't know about this massacre until a few years ago. I mean, how about yourself?
Yeah,
you're a college student.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't find out about it either. I mean, it definitely wasn't talked about in high school.
Right.
And I learned a lot of things when I got to college, but even in college, I didn't learn about this particular incident.
Exactly. And I think you made a point. You never learned about it in high school. You were homeschooled. And so we were pulling in all kinds of resources from other areas, resources not necessarily that the public school would pull in, but even with that, we didn't know. So this learning and understanding our history is important to us as a race, but also it's important to our country. I think we need to tell the whole story.
Yes, we do.
Not just part of the story. So with that being said, we are going to continue the conversation in our next segment with our special guest, Ahneva Hilson, who's going to take us through some of our history as she walks us through and gives us a tour of the African Textile Museum. So you absolutely want to see this tour, so stay tuned. We need to take a little break, but we'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Elevate Talk Show, and today we're going to be continuing our conversation on Black history with Ahneva Hilson.
Ahneva Hilson is the curator, she's the founder, she is the director of the African Textile Museum in the new Black Wallstreet Market. It is a phenomenal, amazing experience to walk through this museum and look at all the various textiles from several different countries around the continent of Africa. And Ahneva takes us through and just meticulously walks us through the details of each garment, how it was made, why it was made, and all of that kind of thing. So just a phenomenal time we had with her. So she's going to be taking you on a tour. So stay tuned and tune in now for our time with Ahneva Hilson at the African Textile Museum in Stonecrest, Georgia.
Everything here is made from cotton, a tree, a leaf, or mud. We're starting here with kente cloth, which is made from cotton. Some areas you can have silk. But the women's job, our job, is to prepare the cotton, make it into a thread, and then dye it many colors. Then we turn it over to the brothers, and they actually do the weaving.
Wow.
Only men weave kente cloth in Ghana.
Wow.
Women are prohibited from weaving the cloth. Not because our human rights are being taken, but it's a lot of work. This strip, with this many patterns on it, this long, takes 10 to 12 hours to weave. 6 to 8 hours to weave something like this. 2 to 4 hours just to weave a strip that goes around your neck. That's why we don't weave the cloth.
That's a lot
We
of work.
prepare the cotton, turn it into thread, and we dye it.
Wow.
That same dyed thread is what Senegal uses to make this beautiful embroidery cloth.
Oh my.
That's all Senegal, including the baskets.
Wow.
Now, everything you see on top is also embroidered art.
Okay.
We Africans created hand-woven beading, embroidery, dyeing, all of the master sciences that involve the entire fashion industry started first in Africa. This symbol, the Giami, with the symbols going up and down, that is a sacred symbol, that it has been in our DNA history, our memory, for hundreds and hundreds of years. They say that our ancestors saw that same symbol when we look through our eyes because their blood runs through our veins. When we see that symbol, we're divinely connected to the principle God is omnipotent. Now moving forward, family, I want to take you to Zaire. Zaire is Central Africa. They renamed it by the colonizers the Republic of the Congo. But that's where the Kubian people live. Each one of these patterns that you see on the wall, each one is made by a different tribe in Kuba land. Zaire is in Central Africa between two rivers. It is said that they never knew about slavery because they were in a position of being between two rivers, the colonizers couldn't even get to them. So they didn't even have to fight for freedom. They never even got there, so they escaped the whole process. Now, everything on this wall that you see here is made from a leaf of a tree. A leaf from a palm tree. The palm tree leaf is called raffia. This is the leaf. This is not grass. This is not straw. This is a palm leaf from the palm tree called raffia. It grows 60 feet in diameter. Our job, women, we collect the leaf. We dry it. We strip it into these strips. Then we hand this over to the men. And the men weave the panel. Then we, women, do what we do. We go back and dye this, beautify, make embroidery, create design, cut it out, inlay it back in, make it fabulous. That's what we do. All done with this leaf. This is the process. Everything is made with the leaf. You see? The fabric itself is woven with the leaf. See?
That's amazing.
The fabric itself is woven with the leaf. Then we cut these pieces out, sew it back on again with this, the leaf.
Goodness.
Everything on this wall is
amazing.
made from
Isn't
a
that
palm tree
amazing?
leaf called raffia.
Raffia.
Now, South Africa is known for its beadwork. It's a science, another science of design. Look at the beads on this piece. Over 10,000 beads
Good
are on this garment. And guess what? It tells something about her.
Yes.
It tells her tribe, the region she's from, if she's married, if she's single, is she widowed, is she looking. Okay, I add the looking part. I add the looking part, sis.
That is.
But what I want to tell you, this tell your business.
Oh,
They
your whole
tell
life.
you
Tell your business.
everything.
But that's what bead is about in South Africa. Everything has a meaning.
Sure.
So just like the Kuba cloth has been found to have musical notes and geometric applications, Kente cloth, every symbol means something. This book, Wrapped in Pride from UCLA, documents what each symbol means. I had a part of in that book. Now, all of these processes that I'm showing you are all done with nature. This is dyeing process. You see this blue fabric up here? It's called indigo. Indigo is from Nigeria. I went to study in Nigeria in this area. This is a magical tree. Come on, family. Come on, family. This is a magical tree called the indigo furga tree. Guess what? We take that tree, we cut it up, we boil the bark, the leaves, the branches, and we get a dye. It's a kind of yellow green. I call it kind of a dirty green when we get the dye. But guess what? When we dip our fabric after it's been waxed into the indigo furger and the air hits it, it turns blue. Indigo blue. That's why it's called the magical indigo furger tree. Because anything you dip into the indigo furger dye, it starts out with that ugly, dirty green color, but when the air hits it, it turns blue. Magical. Now, all the patterns on these fabrics are made with wax. It's a process called batik. Batik, making designs using wax. Guess what? We're going to be teaching you this process right here at the museum. Once you learn how to batik, honey, you can go get you some silk like I did or some cotton and do your thing. But we're going to teach you on a handkerchief. Just the process. You learn the process, you go for it. Now this is tie-dye.
Yeah.
Now you know everybody wearing tie-dye. Ain't nobody got nothing on?
I just did one yesterday for my baby girl for school.
Okay, so that's when we wrap, we twist, we fold, then we dye. Then we unwrap, untwist, unfold to get these beautiful patterns. Family, we bad. We on the trees and flowers. Get our dye. Now, this is embroidered art, again with the needle and thread. This particular dress was donated by the ambassador of Nigeria, Ambassador Ahneva. She came for our soft opening on October the 30th wearing this dress. And I commented on how beautiful the embroidered art was. And she came in and she said, Ahneva, I don't see embroidery here. I said, yes, ma'am, I'm working on it. I'm going to get some. She said, no, embroidery is a big art in Africa. I said, yes, ma'am, I've been there. I know, I'm going to get some. She said, we will start with my dress.
Yes, indeed.
I will donate my dress.
Yes, indeed.
And she donated the dress. So we have started. And since we started with the dress, this Yoruba Ifa priest came in and donated this
And I knew that
beautiful
was
piece.
spectacular.
And look at the embroidered art on this piece. And all of this hand woven ashoke. Again, everything on this wall is hand woven ashoke. And each person, each thing on this wall is done by a different weaver. And everybody has their own swagoo sauce that they put on their fabric.
Wow.
Look at these sisters here, putting strings on the fabric. Look at that.
Get that?
With colors.
Yes.
Metallic.
Yes.
Patterns.
Look at that.
Look
at
at this sister up here. She tousled and tied tassels on each piece. Look at that. Now this is weaving. Make a tassel, clip it, tie it off. Weave, make the tassel, clip it, tie it off. Add a string, add another color, add another color. Here we have this person. They put holes, metallic, all kinds of combinations of weaving in their cloth. This young brother's 25 years old. He wove Afro picks in his cloth. You see the Afro picks? Look at that.
That's it.
That's what they are.
That's what they are.
Afro picks.
Wow.
So as a weaver, you have the creative license to do your cloth how you want to do it.
Sure.
Now guess what? This fabric is probably the most covenant of them all.
Okay.
Because it's made from mud from the earth, just like me and you.
Wow.
When I say mud from the earth, I'm talking about go down, dig up the mud from the ground.
Wow.
Earth.
Wow.
Now we go by the water because minerals are very strong by the water. Once we acquire the mud, we let it ferment for a minute. Then, after we got our fabric and it's painted, it's ready, after it's woven and it's ready, we take the mud and we paint with the mud. We actually paint the cloth with the mud. The mud is painted with the cloth. The cloth is painted with the mud, I'm sorry. Then we lay it in the sun for 4 to 5 days.
Goodness.
On the 5th day, we go and retrieve the cloth, and guess what? We find that the melanated mud, the strong minerals in the mud, and the sun come together and do that nature thing.
Yes, yeah, they do their thing.
And it permanently stains the cloth. That's why it's called mud cloth. It is actually made from mud. Now, you think that's big? This dress is 25 years old. I'm 84 big television producer in Hollywood, Giovanni Brewer. Look how rich this mud is after 25. But family, we are people who take nothing and make something out of it.
Well, I hope you enjoyed our time with Ahneva Hilson. We're going to take a short break, but we'll be back soon.
Well, welcome back to the Elevate Talk Show. This week's Around the Town segment takes us to the new Black Wallstreet Market. And it was an exciting time that our family spent there a couple of weeks ago. You remember?
Yes, I remember. It was really great.
Yeah.
The new Black Wallstreet Market is in a building that is a converted Target, and it's really amazing how they were able to convert the space. I mean,
Yeah.
you never would have guessed
Yeah.
that it used to be a Target.
No, and they created sort of like a small town.
Yeah, it was like with all these different streets.
Street names, the Greenwood District, this other area, just lots of district, and it had such it had a variety of things, but it just had so much energy, and you know, so many different types of shops.
Yeah.
It was a really full experience, and so please turn your attention to our time at the new Black Wallstreet Market. This week's Around the Town takes us to the new Black Wallstreet Market in Stonecrest, Georgia, which is located approximately 22 miles east of Atlanta. The new Black Wallstreet Market is a destination for family entertainment, perusing art galleries, purchasing gourmet foods and wine, and doing lots of retail shopping. Its primary mission is to increase the size and the number of minority and women-owned businesses throughout the United States and globally. The former Target building, laid out to reflect the area of the historic Greenwood Black Business District in Oklahoma, houses more than 100 shops and restaurants, including Maddie's Tea Room, a lovely little eatery decorated with lace and fine china that's open to the general public and available for private events. During our visit, we met and talked with master artist Arzell Thompson Jr., who has a shop featuring several of his art pieces that he is selling. One of the highlights of our family's visit to the market was visiting the African Textile Musem. Curator Ahneva Hilson guided us through a walking tour of the museum and explained about various textiles from different African countries. There's so much to experience inside this new and exciting development, including live music played by a saxophonist who performed a set of soulful sounds which we thoroughly enjoyed. If you're looking for rich culture and Black excellence, then the new Black Wallstreet Market is the place to visit. And we plan to visit again very soon. To find out more about the new Black Wallstreet Market, visit www.newblackwallstreet.co. We have to take a little break, but we'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Elevate Talk Show. In today's meal of the week, I'm going to be showing you how to make a really easy beef stir fry, which is the perfect meal for all of your weeknight needs.
Yeah, and easy, I think, is one of the key words. People want good food, they want healthy food, they want nutritious food, but I also think nobody wants to be coming home and slaving over a hot stove for an hour and a half. That doesn't work for most people. So I think easy is really easy and delicious is the key.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for Adrianna's beef stir fried segment.
And welcome to our meal of the week segment. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a quick, easy beef stir fry. So let's get started. So we're going to get started with our beef stir fry. So first, I put a couple of tablespoons of vegetable oil. You can use any kind of oil you want, regular vegetable oil, canola oil, olive oil, it doesn't really matter. So I stuck that in our pan, and now I'm going to put our spices in so that the spices will bloom and we'll have lots of full flavor. So I'm going to start off by putting in a couple of teaspoons of garlic powder, a couple of teaspoons of black pepper, 1 teaspoon of red pepper flakes, and a couple of teaspoons of chili powder. Stir that around and let the spices cook in the oil for about a minute. Right, so now I'm going to add in our vegetables. I'm going to add in 2 small onions, 3 small zucchini, and 1.5 cups of broccoli florets. And I'm just going to let those cook for 2 to 3 minutes. Now for some color, I'm going to add in 2 orange bell peppers that I cut into some nice thin slices. So I'm just going to mix that in and let them cook until they've softened. Now that we've cooked our vegetables, let's move on to the meat. So right here I've got some thin beef strips that I've seasoned with some salt, some pepper, some garlic, and some chili powder. So you can purchase already cut beef, or if you want to, you can buy a chuck roast or another cut of beef that you'd like to use and just cut it into thin slices and then stir fry it. So now I'm just going to take it and put it in this pan with some hot oil. I'm going to let it cook for about 5 minutes. And of course I'm going to stir it so that it's nice and browned on each side. Okay, so our beef is done cooking. It's been 5 minutes. So now what we're going to do is just take our beef and transfer it into the pan with the vegetables. And we're just going to stir everything together. And now we're done. So I'm going to plate this up for you so that you can see what it looks like. Alright, so the beef stir fry is ready and it's really delicious. And I'm going to give you a close-up shot so that you can see how good this looks. I hope you enjoyed this recipe and I can't wait to see you again next week. Welcome back to the Elevate Talk Show. Our time together is almost done, but before we go, we have a couple of things we'd like to share with you. First of all, the Elevate Talk Show has created a business directory, which is a great place to list your business so that you can connect with new customers. If you want to be a part of our business directory, all you need to do is subscribe to our show and make a comment with your business name, your email address, your phone number, and your website, and we will add your business to our directory.
Absolutely, absolutely. Great way to get some free advertisement. Also, the Elevate Show has a wonderful little giveaway that we want to send to you. It is our new refrigerator magnet. See how colorful it is, and it just has our information on there, including our social media stuff. We'd love to send this to you. We just need you to go to the channel, subscribe to the show, and then send us your info, your contact info, and we will put one of these in the mail to you ASAP. So please take a moment to do that today. Also, can you tell them where they can find us?
Yes, so we upload to YouTube every week, so you can catch us there. Or you can also catch us on DeKalb Comcast 25 on the public access channel. Or you can go live stream our show at DeKalb25.com on Sundays at 7 p.m.
That's right, that's right. So lots of ways to catch the Elevate Talk Show. We just want to thank you again for tuning in to the show. We love that our audience is growing and that people are tuning in and finding our subject matter, things to listen to, and they're sharing it with their friends. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We really appreciate that. Well, our time together is just about up, but we will see you next time on the Elevate Talk Show. Have a great week, everybody.
Bye.
Bye now.